What is up, everybody? It is your boy Herf here, back on the Duel Entertainment channel, and it's that time of the month again. We got a meta mashup going on right now. So, if you guys are unfamiliar with the meta mashup, so the decks rated in green are tier 1, decks in yellow are tier 2, decks in red are tier 3, and I'm going to mark them green, yellow, or red, all of their matchups. You read it from left to right. So, if this deck has a better than 60-40 matchup against the top deck, it'll be green. If it's about 50-50, it'll be yellow. And if it's worse than 40-60, it'll be red. So basically the idea of this is that I'm going to share with you guys my view of all of the meta decks and their matchups in this mashup. So today, you see that I rated Water and Blue Eyes Red Dragon, the two best decks in the format. Dark Lords and Thunders at yellow, and then Onomat, Cider, and Fire King all at tier 3. Now, a lot of people might get kind of upset with me, but I do think Triamids is just a little bit below the rest of the decks. Like, it's a good deck right now, but it's just not quite everything else. So that's why I didn't include it. It's a good deck nonetheless, but it's just not as good as everything else. So, getting right into it. Water versus Blue Eyes White Dragon, I think that this is a pretty clear green for Water. Water is one of the best decks right now, and I think that just in general, it'll just destroy Blue Eyes White Dragon. So into Dark Lords, I think it's a pretty 50-50 matchup. I think it is highly dependent on how each player opens. If Water opens Necro Valley, it can be pretty difficult for Dark Lords, although they do play Cosmic Cyclone now, which they didn't before. Water into Thunders, I think it's another like battle of the text and battle of what people opens. I think that this is a pretty 50-50 matchup as well. So against the other top 3 decks, Water is either good or at least 50-50. So I mean that kind of shows you where the deck is at the moment. Versus Onomat, I wouldn't say it's got a good Onomat matchup because I don't think really anything has a good Onomat matchup, but it doesn't really have a bad one. So it's another like 50-50 of like it should be able to win. Cider is bad, and then Fire Kings is obnoxiously good. So the reason it has a bad Cyber Dragon matchup is that Cyber Dragons are really able to be more explosive than Water is able to control, right? So Water is a very, very much a control deck of, we're going to put like a pop plus a Dweller on the board. We're going to kind of, it's like updated like wallet control from way back in the day. And Syndra just absolutely shreds any kind of control deck in the meta, so that is why it is so much better. It's good versus Fire. It's absurdly good versus Fire King because that graveyard lock is so devastating to Fire Kings that need to be able to special summon back from the graveyard. So Blue Eyes White Dragon really just had a bad Water matchup. Blue Eyes White Dragon and Dark Lords I feel like is definitely favored. And the reason for this is not only are all of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon is a vanilla monster, so Dark Lords can't negate it. But then also, Azure Eyes prevents the Dark Lords from being able to remove any of their monsters. So if you can like shotgun into Azure Eyes and then go for game, you're probably winning, honestly. Blue Eyes White Dragon plus and Thunders, I think Thunders should probably win, right? I think that Thunder just like the Levineer, right? I mean, like, what more do I need to say? I mean, just Levineer. You need to open so much back row in order to control them. If you open back row, you're going to have a pretty bad board, so it's just not good. Blue Eyes White Dragon, I would say, has a good Onomat matchup. Azure Eyes is just amazing in this meta. Blue Eyes White Dragon into Cyber Dragon, I feel like this is a battle of kind of whoever goes first, right? But I think that'll overall be a yellow matchup. And then Blue Eyes White Dragon should have a good Fire King matchup. Just because Spirit Dragon will lock into the graveyard. I'm not saying that it's impossible for Fire Kings to win, but I'm saying most days Blue Eyes White Dragon should be winning that. So overall you can see that the Blue Eyes White Dragon and Water matchups are pretty similar. I would say that Blue Eyes White Dragon not having a good matchup versus Water really hurts their ranking because Water is one of the most played decks in pretty much every tournament. So yeah, that definitely hurts you. So this is Dark Lords have yellow, and then we said that they are bad versus Blue Eyes White Dragon. So Dark Lords into Thunder Dragons is a really interesting matchup that I think is really incredibly difficult to predict. Purely because if Dark Lords go first, there's a chance that a negate won't be enough. But if they go first, they can rip a card and have a negate, which might be enough. And then Thunder Dragons, if they go first, a Balancer a lot of times has the potential to just shut down the Dark Lord turn 1. If Dark Lords don't open a great hand, but at the same time, if they, like I'd say it's a very 50-50 matchup. Like there are texts both ways. There are a lot of things that can affect a given matchup. So Dark Lords into Onomat I think is generally pretty good. The reason I think this is they can protect from destruction, they can negate effects, they can do all this. Dark Lords into Cyber Dragons for the same reasons I'm going to say is probably green. Just purely because, like, and Fire King. So you just, like, it has a good matchups versus all of the rogue decks. And at 50-50 at best versus all of the good decks. So Dark Lords is one of those decks that just kind of curb stomps all of the bad or worse decks in the meta, but doesn't really dominate anything else. Like Thunder Dragons, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Water, I mean, they can win potentially, but it's just incredibly difficult. So Thunder into Water, we already rated this as a 50-50 matchup. And then Thunder into Blue Eyes White Dragon, we already said was a good matchup. And then Thunder into Dark Lords, we said was 50-50. Alright, so Thunder into Onomat. I think Onomat in general should be winning this, right? Like, Roach is so unbelievably insane that it's like... I don't know. Thunders automatically win versus Sydra's. And then the Fire King matchup... I don't know, it's pretty hard for Thunders, actually. Like, I think a lot of people would be surprised by that, because all you really need to do is negate M7, right? And then the rest of their effects destroy, which you float off of. So I think that this would be a pretty bad matchup. Like, it's not... I think this is exactly 40-60, right? It's like just under 50-50, and because of that, it's red. So Onomat into Water, we already said was 50-50. We already said that Onomat into Blue Eyes White Dragon. Onomat into Blue Eyes is bad. Bad. Onomat into Dark Lords, we already said was bad. Onomat into Thunders, we said was good. Good. And then Onomat into Cyber Dragons. I think that... I think it's very dependent on Trunade. Like, Trunade is is such an insane card. I think it almost has to be good, right? Like and plus, if you go first with Overflow, that's like your main form of disruption. And if Onomat have something like Lance, if they have Trunade, if they have Wind, which is searchable, all of that doesn't matter, right? Like, Overflow just does nothing, and then they don't have macro, so it's not like Rampage is a real... Rampage is a real form of disruption, so it's just like... They kind of steamroll you after that. Onomat into Fire Kings, I would say, is pretty difficult. I would say Fire Kings, in general, just do really well against any decks that rely on destruction, or they're just very good right now at doing what they do best. Like, they don't have any 50-50 matchups because you either win or you lose, basically. Because Cyber Dragons have a good... Or Fire Kings have a good Cyber Dragon matchup, I would say. So Sidra have a bad Fire King matchup. So you see, like, the matchups for Fire King are pretty split down the middle. That they're good versus... Or bad versus the top 3 decks, but good versus the bottom 3 decks that isn't themselves. But Cyber Dragons, we already said, has a good water matchup. We already said that they have a... Blue Eyes White Dragon has a 50-50 Cyber Dragon matchup. 50-50. They have bad Dark Lord matchup. Bad Thunder matchup. Bad Onomat matchup. Right? So Cyber Dragons, really their best matchups are the 2 best decks in the game. And I would say that Cyber Dragons... Also, because this is only versus the decks that are tiered, in my opinion, so all of the other decks are that in the meta right now, so like Trimids, Cyber Dragon should win against. Trimids, Or actually, it would be like Trimid or Lunalite. These would also be greens for Sidra. So that's why they're tier 3 in my opinion. So like they're good versus the two most popular rogue decks as well, which really helps in their rating. Because you can see like right now, you'd be like, why in the hell are they not? Why are they even here? And plus all of these red matchups, they can just win if they open like a 3-card combo. So it's not consistent, but this is red. Fire Kings have a bad. So the first 3 are bad, and then the last 3 are good. Oh, oops, not orange. That's not what we do here. And then this is going to be green. This is going to be green. This is going to be green. So here's my meta mashup for this month. It looks very different from last month. The ban list really did a lot in order to kind of really just destroy the two top decks, which were Noble Knights and Desperado, and the meta has really been evolving quickly in terms of what is going to fill that kind of power vacuum, right? Because Dark Lords and Noble Knights were so oppressive. But overall, I think that this is a pretty good depiction of what the meta is. I think another maybe rogue deck that we could put in there is Neos. That these 3 decks are really very close to the other tier 3 decks, but they're just not quite there, right? They're just like just outside the realm of like Fire Kings. And Fire Kings just are pretty decent. Sidra, decent. Onomat, decent. And then if you're anything less than decent, you're just a bad deck. So Trimids, Lunas, and Neos are kind of bad for me, but Water and Blue Eyes White Dragon are the I would feel the 2 undisputed best decks in the meta. I think Dark Lords might be pushing to try to get in there a little bit, and they may, over the course of the next month or so, push Blue Eyes White Dragon out of the top. But I think Water is pretty safely in the top for now. And with that, I think I'm going to head on out of here, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we upload. Make sure you, what else you got to do? You got to check out the Twitch because that's where we host tournaments. You got to get in the Discord because that's where you sign up for tournaments and have free new player help. Yeah, so this is the meta, guys, in my opinion, right now. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you agree, disagree on any of the matchups. I think I did a pretty good job this month. Probably better than I have in past months. But anyways, see you guys later. Thank you so much for just stopping by the channel. And I will peace out of here. See ya.